What's up, everyone? Legendary Talks here, episode 73 with the luxurious Keenyah Hill. She should be joining momentarily. I am giving you Golden Girl realness tonight. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining. Hey, Sydney. Keenyah should be joining momentarily. She is she's waiting for me. Okay, perfect. Let me ask you, Keenyah. Go live with Keenyah. So, what's everyone drinking? I have Belvedere and soda. Hey!
Oh, hey there.
What's up, boo?
Let me make sure this is set up right. Dang, you don't.
How you feeling?
You don't see no cleavage or nothing, huh? Hi.
What are you drinking, first of all?
I am drinking vodka with a little ginger ale.
I'm drinking Belvedere and soda. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Where are you, New York?
Darling, I am in New York City.
Good. How you
Williamsburg.
feeling?
I am feeling grateful and blessed. 2020,
Good.
2020 is trying to kill all of us.
Yep.
And I am still here. So very grateful and very happy.
Well, you're looking gorgeous, as always.
Thank you. You have more shine than me. You always outshine everyone.
Well, it's not a competition, boo-boo. I think tonight, too, I was just saying, I'm giving you Golden Girls tonight. It's like Golden Girl.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Okay, so Legendary Talks is a show that I've done. It's my 73rd episode. And basically, we celebrate people that have been important to culture. I've had lots of nightlife people, lots of DJs, different various people. I say, it doesn't have to be a famous person. Doesn't matter. Like, it's just your impact on culture. So I thought you would be fun to have on here as we go way back, as you know. And I've always thought about you. You're kind of like from a different era to me. You've always reminded me of like someone from the 70s, like, would have been like at Studio 54
that
and,
is my literal description of myself. If I could go back to any time, maybe Woodstock, but definitely Studio 54. That's such a compliment. Thank you.
No, but I've always thought that you're kind of like a Beverly Johnson or something to me. Like, you have a really old soul. And I thought that even I knew you when you were really young. I always thought, you're kind of like, you fit in so well in New York and you were just from like a different time or something. It was really interesting. Anyway, okay, so you're from LA, right? Yes, exactly. So
yes.
What was that like growing up in LA? What were some of the, I guess, the influences on you from LA as a young person?
Absolutely. But I want to say to anyone who's like from my page joining in, Legendary Damon, if you don't know Damon, kind of unfortunate, but you're connected now. Damon literally is one of those people who has a little extra dust full of universal just light and like just all of that jazz, and ran every single like important door or door of importance rather, in New York City, and always very humble. I've known you for about 15 years now, and so this is going to be an epic conversation because I don't even think we've delved into these conversations when we meet up because it's always a vibe.
Yes.
But to answer your question, growing up in LA was amazing. I'm originally from Palmdale. It's a suburb like an hour outside of LA. And when we got to the 6th grade, my mom was like, my kids are not black enough. So she moved us to Carson, which is right next door to Compton. And it was amazing. I was a very late bloomer though, and a nerd as well, like honor roll, yearbook, leadership,
Good.
super nerd. No, it has
Good.
amazing qualities to be into school, to not be into just like the popular stuff when you're growing up. And so my influences for so long it was all internal because I had no access to popular opinions. I was like on the outside. So when I got to the 11th grade, I started really falling in love with fashion. And so all of my influence came from New York Fashion Week, supermodels, when supermodels were supermodels, okay? Like,
okay, so hold on, a couple of things. So I met your mom, I know your sister. You have an amazing,
my sister loves you.
I love her.
Because you're so real. You have no ego.
I love both of you. And your mom. Your mom is gorgeous and fabulous as well. It's a great pedigree of women in your family. So,
Thank you.
who was the first black model female model you remember? The very first one.
To be completely honest, Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi.
And what did that do? And did that how did that make you feel? Was that like you said, I can be that, or what was going through your head?
Well, because I was such a late bloomer, it was very far from me. And I sprouted. I went from being average height to growing like 3 inches in the 10th grade. And so, like, God blessed me so much that, thank God, my passion in life matched up with my physicalities, or the prerequisites for that passion. So I'm 5'11", and so it just really worked out. Naomi was definitely one of those people, but Tyra as well. I remember hearing about her summer camp and stuff, and her really wanting to pull people in who are like not as confident and all of that kind of stuff. But really what pulled me into fashion was just watching I used to cut out clips of like Fashion Week stuff and plaster all of my folders. Remember high school folders with the plastic where you tuck and jam the thing? Full of, and I was so into the models before I was into the fashion. So I remember this cutout of this girl, and in the corner it said Carolina Herrera out of Vogue or something, and I thought that was the model's name. That's how much I was into the models. Later I found out that's the designer. But it was really because I had such a low self-esteem. I admired and adored these women who were so confident and walking around, because they make you feel away.
Yeah.
They make you feel away, whether it's a picture or runway. And so that was the first thing. And then I started doing fashion shows, like local fashion shows. Before I did Top Model, the first fashion show I did was at a club in LA in a fur, and this is before, what's his name? Ducky? This is before all that stuff. Fur bikini, 17 years old. My mom is just happy that I'm becoming more confident in myself.
Yeah.
And then I had a full scholarship to UC Riverside, majored in biology, wanted to be a doctor, pediatrician or obstetrician. And then
Nerd. I'm just kidding. Nerd. I'm just kidding.
But it's a good thing.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. This is amazing. It's amazing. Like, a brain is a great thing. So.
Yeah. And so.
Brains and beauty. So.
And so then finally to like try it out for Top Model and stuff. And.
So how did Top Model come about? Like, you heard about it, or what's the whole story in that?
Absolutely. My whole freshman year of college. So I took it a step further from stuffing the pictures of the girls in my folder to in my college dorm at UC Riverside. Hey, sister school to UCLA and UC Berkeley, for those who don't know. But I plastered, you remember V Magazine, those huge, their editorials were the best, right? Actually, I have one right here. Let me get it.
Okay.
Let me get it.
Okay. All right.
But some people may not be into fashion.
You're right. Showing us the archive. Yes.
This
Who's
is
on the cover?
Magazine. Let's see. I don't even know who this is. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But their editorials.
Yeah.
Editorials are just like insane. Oh, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Okay.
And they're huge, and they're like really long, gorgeous magazines.
So I covered all the walls of my dorm with that, and just like was into fashion. And right in my dorm is where I watched the first seasons of America's Next Top Model. So season 1 and 2, I was on season 4, cycle 4.
Who won the first 2 years? Do you remember? I don't remember.
Joanna House. She had the picture with the helmet. Killed it. Who was the second winner? I don't remember who the second winner was, but third was Eva. But the season aired while mine was filmed, so I had no idea about her season. But I tried out twice. I tried out the first time by sending in a video and didn't make it, and then tried out again in a live audition and made it through.
So what was that experience like for you? How old were you? 18?
How old was I at the time? 18.
Yeah. So what was the experience like from you? I mean, you're so young. It's got to be,
I'm 34 now. I'm proud.
Good. No, I'm saying, but to be 18 years old and thrown in that environment, I'm sure it's, it's crazy. It's reality TV. What was how was the experience for you, and what's your kind of takeaway from it?
Well, for me, because I wasn't ever really socially accepted that much or deemed beautiful by my peers in school, the fact that I had made it every step of the way in the process, I'm like, this is a dream. One night during the semifinals, after the night that Tyra called my name, I went back to the hotel room, and I literally didn't want to go to sleep because I was like, I'm gonna wake up and just be right back in my bed. This is gonna be a dream. So every step of the way, I was just so grateful that it was happening and that I was there.
Yeah.
And so when the show happened, not that many people know, but for whatever reason, the cycles prior to mine, there was a lot of drama. So this season, they picked a lot of nicer girls.
Got it.
So there was a drama. And so for me, it was so fun. It was like a summer camp. You wake up, you sleep at a friend's place and you wake up and you forget that you're not at home in your bed and you're just like, oh yeah. Like that's exactly how it was.
That's great because, reality TV can be like a negative experience for a lot of people. I didn't know it was such a positive experience for you. So you didn't win. You made it to pretty far up. What number did you make it, like third or something?
I made it to third place, which is my favorite
exactly.
number. This is your 73rd episode.
So my thing is, though, to me, it doesn't matter at all that you didn't win because I remember you. I didn't even watch the show that much. I've only seen probably up until a couple up until the 4th season. But, the reality is I only remember 3 people from that show, Eva, you, and Naima. And Eva and Naima won, but you didn't, and it doesn't matter to me at all. Like I had to Google today, did you win or not? I can't remember because it doesn't matter is my point. So the takeaway is, the takeaway is, you stood out so much, and that's what those are those shows are for. It's not really if you win, it's that you're on the show, people saw you, and you have that like star quality on the show. So like the fact that you didn't win.
But you know what? And you know what? That's a great point that you make because this says a lot about titles and winning and like the stigma behind in America, especially of like all the pressure of like success and like being number one. It's like being successful or happy has nothing to do with other people. It has absolutely everything to do with yourself. And if you think about Beyonce and when she didn't win all that stuff, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, all these people participated in these shows and stuff and weren't necessarily number one. J-Lo was just a fly girl for a long time. She was back there for Janet Jackson, who you have thrown parties for and are, essential to her now. But it's not necessarily about winning. And I'm happy that I didn't win because that could have easily been my climax of success.
A great way to look at that. That's a really great way. Well, my friend Keenyah here, and she brought up a good point. Jennifer Hudson didn't win American Idol, so.
Hello.
Yeah, so.
I mean, there's
also a good friend of mine.
Oh, hey.
So, okay, so I don't know Tyra at all. I don't think I've ever even met Tyra, anything like in my 20-year plus experience, years in this. I don't think I've been in the same room with Tyra, but to me, Tyra seems so interesting because what I really like about Tyra is that she doesn't want it. She's not trying to be cool. I love that about her. She doesn't care about Met Ball. She's like,
the last time I saw Tyra was at a party. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was at a party. It was like a fashion week after party somewhere, very exclusive. She literally, and I'm like, everybody's dressed down, serving what you're serving right now. She literally was in the corner eating with a Harvard sweater on, hair not done, no makeup, not giving a hoot. And it was, it's like it says a lot. It says a lot when you're not trying to impress anyone.
She comes across the way that she's trying to work really hard and she's trying to kind of, inspire people and all these really real, quality things. And the fact she's not trying to be on the scene, she doesn't care. I think, she became successful as a model in her early 20s. She's like, I did it already, I'm good. And I really like that about her. She doesn't care about Met Ball, things like that. She's not thirsty,
She doesn't care about how she's portrayed. She's worried about her bank account and her level of freedom and her creative genius. Instead of pouring your attention into what's trending or where's my man or the getting a Tesla or whatever your dream car is, you're pouring your energy into yourself and what makes you tick.
So what was your experience with her like, and was she mentor? How was it with her?
Well, it ended right after the show ended.
Okay.
Except for like when I went on the Tyra Banks show a couple times.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful. I thought that initially when I got booted, I thought that, okay, she's going to make calls for me, get me signed, make it happen.
Yeah.
None of that. I had to learn. She gave me the golden ticket.
Yeah.
Changed the course of my life. I would literally be a doctor right now had I not gone on that model. So
yeah, she's like, I gave you this already. You're on your own. She's like, I gave you this opportunity of being on my show on television. You're on your own. I understand.
You know what? Not that many people know this, but she really does. Because a lot of people ask me, one of the most popular questions people ask me about Tyra is Tyra a bitch? And it sucks because she's a boss. She's so professional, and like she only does what men do who have made it to that level. And behind the scenes at one of the Tyra Banks shows I did, because I did a few, one of them, she had about maybe 30 top model girls come to do a talk. And she started at the beginning, and she challenged herself, I'm going to remember every girl's name. And she went down the row and said hi to us all and remembered all of our names. You know, she always wanted to make us feel special. So. Well,
no, you bring up a good point. You know, people would call her, you know, whatever, because she's succeeding.
Aggressive, but
aggressive.
Not.
Yeah. But my point is, she's succeeding, and there takes a certain amount of asserting, you know, that goes along with that, and people don't like it from a woman a lot of times. That's exactly what it is. So
they don't like it. They don't like it. But a lot of it is there are a lot of huge social constructs and double standards. But luckily, right now, things are breaking down from us having conversations and us filling in the gaps.
And actually, I never thought about it to this moment, she's really a visionary in a lot of ways. Tyra Banks, she may not even get the credit for being a visionary, you know?
Do you understand that the template for every single competitive reality show
You're right.
Based on judges, process of elimination, she is giving credibility to whoever and whatever, even if they're not that talented. She's providing credibility and changing lives around the world. And we did Top Model when the only other reality shows at the time were Big Brother and The Real World. There wasn't even Instagram.
She is a visionary, and I kind of forgot that. Okay, so you moved to New York, and we meet.
We did.
What is your first memory of me? Because I remember, I'll tell you mine of you.
Really? You tell me yours first while I have a little.
I was doing the door at Hero on 17th and 8th, and you came walking up, or you came out of the restaurant, I think, next door, and you're just like, you know, in high heels, 6'2" or something. I love when tall girls wear high heels. That's one of my favorite things in the world. You know, and you were just so gorgeous, and you really had this energy about you. And I feel like we knew each other already, but I remember us communicating at that moment and kind of just clicking. And I'm like, I like this girl, and the vibe was mutual. That's my first memory of you. So
let me tell you, I think before the initial lock-in at Hero, which you guys, Hero was this amazing place where if you know anything about New York, where the Dream is, the Dream Hotel, or Tao, where Tao was.
Yep.
Now that's like 4 establishments, but that used to be one huge underground club and one, this is in between Tao and PhD or Electric Room. So this was one huge club that if you wanted to, you can dip off and go through the kitchen and go to another club or to a Japanese restaurant, like insane. And before I met you, I was always a huge fan of Khalees and NERD, Pharrell, because I was such a nerd. I was literally, mind the pun, such a nerd. And Pharrell spoke upon things that were not social norms, and about spirituality and aliens and like relationships and like hustling and like all kinds of stuff. And Khalees, you know, her voice is just, and still is, like so amazing. And so I always knew of that. And so before I met you, I saw you in the Bossy video with my sister Sequoia. Sequoia, you better be in here, ho. You better.
I know, right? She better be. She better be. You're right.
Oh, I just lost the hoop. Hold on, baby. But before I met you, I was like, me and my sister and I were fangirling over you, like, oh my gosh, like you're so stylish and all this stuff. And we went to Hero, and you were so humble and nice and sweet. Because my sister doesn't fangirl over anyone, but people who are in the limelight can sometimes be you know, kind of mean. And you were just so receptive and so nice, and you always had my respect from that point forward. And
amazing. I don't know. I didn't know that story. Wait, did you ever know how I ended up being in the Bossy video? Because someone just sent me the clip the other day, and you know, like some of my friends too. And it's kind of like Bossy video had been
really?
around the last couple weeks. So
I'm listening to you. I just want to put on some Khalees now.
We were doing the casting, and we couldn't find enough cool people. And she turns to me and she's like, "I think you have to be in the video. Do you have something to wear?" And I was like, "How rude! Of course I have something to wear." And then I was in the video, like, you know, within hours. So.
Hey, and
Or
within
the next
hours,
day, the next day.
that's probably just how you showed up that day. Cooler, automatically cooler than everyone.
It was fun. It was fun. So what clubs were popular around that time? What was going on in New York your first year, let's say?
Oh my gosh. Only people who have actually lived in New York know this. New York has always been New York. But I think that the time that I was there was the last burst of New York being New York. Before social media, before everybody wanted to be famous and just put out a viral video, New York used to have 27th Street. Okay? Mind you, I'm 19 years old coming out of LA. I'm a late bloomer. I don't even know who I am at this point, but I'm gonna ride the wave. And 27th Street is literally, this is when Paris Hilton was Paris Hilton. And this street from Marquee down to Kane, the clubs that were in between that were all amazing were Bungalow 8, the first Bungalow 8 with disco at the door, Pink Elephant, also Pink Elephant in the Hamptons, Kane, Bed. Do you remember Club Bed?
Yeah. I forgot about that, actually.
Club Bed, for anybody who doesn't know this street, Club Bed was a club up on a rooftop where instead of tables, they literally had beds with canopies, breeze, full vibe. And then when you get tired of that club, you just go right next door to the next club. And you go to Kane and listen to some house music or house. I don't know I think there was a Scores or something, but I didn't really go in there.
Wasn't there Stereo also on that block? Stereo?
No. Cielo. You know what though? Number one, because I had my 21st birthday at this place, Lotus.
Of course. Lotus.
14th Street. Across the street from Lotus, 777.
You're right.
One of the first clubs that was, no matter what you look like or how much money you have, it's the level of exclusivity and class.
I love that place. That was one of the first small, besides Bungalow 8, that's probably the most exclusive place, 777. I love that place. Girl, you're bringing me back. Okay, so you moved to New York. You kind of, immerse yourself in the scene. You and I become great friends. And then what's going on?
New York.
What's going on modeling wise for you? And what's going on with your career at that point? What's happening?
Oh man, I had a lot of hardships, but those hardships taught me every hardship that I had, and I think this is how life works in general. Things that are that make you uncomfortable or hard pill to swallow about yourself and who you think you are in this world are your biggest teachers. And in that time, even though I was I don't even like the word famous, I'd say well known. At that time, people were freaking out over me, crying, wanting autographs. This is when autographs were a thing. And freaking out. But because I was such a late bloomer, I was able to look at people and say, okay, wait, so you're being my friend now because I look nice, as opposed to, don't laugh at my jokes because you see me on TV. Laugh at it if it's funny. And if it's not funny, don't laugh at it. And so I realized that you can be famous and have no money.
Yeah.
And have no money. And so I was making a little bit of money, but people don't realize that when I did Top Model, in order to sign to a big modeling agency, you have to be either a fresh face or a working model who's established from overseas and whatever. I was neither. Sorry, let me turn this down just a bit.
Yeah, because you were kind of a notable at that point, but it's hard to kind of, where does that fit into in the modeling world, right?
Whoa. Yeah. Well, I couldn't get signed to an agency at all. They considered me a reality star.
Oh.
And so I wasn't signed. I'm trying to set this up. 1 second, though. There we go. But yeah, I wasn't even signed for 3 years. Couldn't even get work.
I never knew that.
Yeah, couldn't get work. And so now things have evolved and changed so much that I'm more so an entrepreneur with Find Your Light, which I started in 2017, which are modeling workshops. And I teach aspiring models how to do everything that it took me years to figure out. And it's so, especially for models of color, it's so fulfilling for me to show them what to do, what your market is, what kind of weave to wear or not to wear.
Yeah.
How to love yourself, how to be confident, because modeling is like, modeling is tough AF. Like you have to have.
I mean, I think people know it's hard. What's your organization called?
My organization. It's my business, Find Your Light. So it's a modeling workshop, but now it's virtual. So I do online classes via, FaceTime or Skype, and I teach you everything. So posing techniques from head to toe, mastering the art of facial expressions, how to nail a casting, how to know your market. Everybody can do runway, baby. Everybody. That was a bigger problem for me too, because I'm 5'11", but baby like to eat. Baby like to eat. I'm not a zero. You know what I mean? So you have to know your market realistically. Yeah,
you're like a 2'4" or something ridiculous.
I'm a 4'4", baby.
I mean,
But yeah, you have to be a zero really to do big.
And then, so you transitioned into acting. I remember that, and you did a lot of things. I think acting. You were on a lot of different things. I remember. And are you still acting now, or?
Right now, the entrepreneurship that I have taught myself is the most intriguing, so I'm putting most of my focus there. The idea right now in this day and age, and I think this applies to anyone who has a passion, especially if it's in the industry, like where you're trying to be put on, but you can like be really good at singing or writing or producing and not be signed. And so if you get really good enough at your craft, if you genuinely are passionate about it and you do this stuff for free, you can just teach that to other people.
Yeah.
And you're also, so you have a purpose, and then you're also possibly moving the culture forward. So what
you're doing is great.
Anybody now. I love acting. My biggest job was like New Girl on Fox. But I'm my own boss. There's nothing better than that.
And what you're doing is great because you're taking your years of experience and you have learned over the past 15 years or whatever, and you are pouring it into other people, like you said, self-confidence, things of that nature. So that's great. It's really good.
Yeah. Well,
And
go ahead.
And I'm sure a lot of young Black girls are thrown into the modeling world, like you're saying, not knowing what type of weave to wear, all these different things. Like they're just thrown in. They're kind of
But why do you think? What do you think is the most? And I'm asking you a rhetorical question now. But what do you think is the most stifling thing with Black American models who want to model? What do you think their biggest hurdle is? I'm asking you. Oh,
you're asking me. Well, first of all, I would say off the top of my head, like there's so little room for them in the modeling world. It's like 95% white girls. So that's what I would say.
There's only one Black girl for every job, whether it's for Target or Dior.
Yep.
Or if it's 80 models for Fashion Week, there's like maybe one space for one Black girl. But even before you get to the space for availability for that job, I'm a Black American girl. I'm part Native American and part Black American. I haven't even done ancestry or any of that because I kind of don't trust the government. So I don't know. I'm not about to trust just whatever you send back. So I'm just Black American, and this is still a huge problem for me. I have like a project coming up because now's the time to make moves. But Black American girls don't get the high fashion jobs. If you pay attention to stuff for decades, Black American girls, even the most beautiful girls, your highest job is maybe a music video vixen.
Yeah.
And now that's transformed into like an Instagram girl, and the only girls booking high fashion jobs, like big jobs, are like, and this is no disrespect to African women, because I love people in general, but people of color, absolutely beautiful, but we don't see Black Americans, we don't see ourselves in fashion at all. So it's either you're an African girl who's a size 0, your hair shaved off, not well kept, the darkest of the darkest, which is beautiful. Like what was her name? Alec Weck? Come on. So it's either that extreme or you're mixed and you're Black and white and you have curly hair and light eyes and you're doing all the commercial jobs.
You're right. Listen, you're right. Everything you're saying is true. I've been to so many fashion shows, and it'll be 30 models, and there's one Black girl. It's to me, I find it frustrating myself. I'm like, there's one Black girl out of 30 models. I mean, it's supposed to be a lot of times it'll be a Black designer even. It's crazy. So.
Yeah, And so it's time for that to change. But I'm grateful for Instagram in this sense that even though people are most likely putting on a front and a flex for their best version of themselves, at least people have a platform and have changed things. I have a sister, Holly, who is so gorgeous, but she's curved or plus size. And her body positivity, all those things coming to light are changing and pushing the culture forward. So now I feel like anything can happen from here on out. Anything.
Yeah, no, you're right. Things are changing. I do agree. Even in the past year and a half, 2 years, things have really changed a lot with all of that. And Instagram is a major key component for that. The body positivity movement in general. There's a lot of really great things that have happened in the past 2 years.
In order for that to happen, though, we have to see ourselves and to love yourself in every version. I had issues because I was made fun of by my own people. My mom moved us to Carson. I was not even paying attention to my body. And then when I got to 6th grade and she moved us to Carson, I'm now being made fun of for being smart, which is a good thing, and for not having no titties and no ass.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's still kind of mentally is a mind fuck in a sense, excuse my French, because I have just this deeply embedded belief that Black men aren't going to be attracted to me because they're looking for the fattest ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hot under these lights. So it's just a complex,
Well, you're gorgeous and you know that. So
things are
you are
great now.
To be honest, we're talking for the first time in a long time like this. You've grown so much. You've grown up so much. I knew you since you were 18, 19. It's so interesting. You're an adult woman that has grown so much. It's really interesting to see that right now. It's great.
Thank you. But you were such a huge conduit for that to happen. You've always accepted me. You've always embraced me. It's funny that your last live was with DJ Cassidy, which was an amazing live. But also O'Neal McKnight, like people who are authentic, who want to help further. They want to propel you into your greatness.
Yeah.
You're one of those people who have always done that.
Well, the three of us are celebrators. We're not haters. The three people you mentioned. We're all celebrators, not haters. What are you grateful for at this moment, right now in your life? What are you grateful for?
Number one, my family. My family and my friends. Number two, that's such a good question. I ask that all the time. Number two, my knowledge of the universe and the laws. I'm a huge advocate for meditation and self-exploration, self-awareness, and learning yourself and learning things like law of attraction. Having that knowledge alone, my life would be different without that knowledge. And
Right.
Number three, just for me being me, because I've been through some shit, and I still I love me. I love me.
Good.
I love people, and whether people understand that or not, I love to make other people feel good. I never have bad intentions.
Yeah.
I'm not materialistic, even though you see like 1,000 shoes behind me or whatever.
Girl, that's nothing. That's nothing.
Don't motivate me.
You should see what I got over here. I'm like, that ain't nothing.
You probably didn't pay for nothing you got on. You probably didn't pay for nothing.
So, yeah, like I said, you're really grown into a great woman, a mature, grounded, not that you're always grounded, but a mature, extremely grounded, evolved woman, because I saw you go from girl to woman. It's really interesting to see.
What do you think the biggest difference is?
Say again?
What do you think the biggest difference is between the girl that I was and the woman that I am now? Because I can't see myself. I don't know. Yeah,
you're the same. You're the same. Basically the same. But you, like you said, you have, I think, a better knowledge of life. You have life experiences now. I don't think you had that when I first met you. You are, morally the same, and you're the same. But like I said, I just see you just matured. Basically, short version, you matured. But the reality is, you lived life. And you understand how life is and how situations and people are and how to navigate all that. So,
Thank you, babe. Thank you. But that's one thing that, like, I hate the phrase of, like, oh, you never, or the saying that you never ask a woman her age. You couldn't have paid me to go back to 21. As fun as it was, you could not pay me to go back to that mental state.
Yeah.
I am so much more comfortable in myself now.
Yep.
I just couldn't go back. So I can't
And
wait.
the good news is it only gets better. You just get more and more and more.
It really does.
Yep.
I'm grateful, literally grateful for every single day.
So how can we support you right now? Is there any, like, you know, none of us are really working. What are ways we can support you right now?
Oh man, if you know any models who want to get started in the industry or may not believe in themselves, or even if you know anyone who does not acknowledge their own self-worth or not love themselves, send them my way. Send them my way. In terms of people who are models, I would love to be your model mentor and provide you with all of the steps in such a personalized, individualistic, is that even a word? Individualistic. Personal.
Yes, good enough for me. Works for me.
Bring them my way, and I will jumpstart their career.
And then when are you doing your next kind of virtual one? I'll post it for you and things.
So
you know, or do
what's happening? I'm about to do a huge relaunch. So the name of it is Find Your Light. So I help you find your light within and on set. Yep. And so I have two things that you can do. You can either do like a pose coaching session. It's like 2 sessions via FaceTime. I teach you, posing techniques, modeling, your industry, no matter where you are in the world, teach you everything you need to know. And then the second thing I offer are pose coaching sessions. So if you live in New York, I will book, for a fee, I will book a photo shoot for you, find your photographer, stylist, makeup artist, assess what's missing from your portfolio, and style it. And then even when you get on set, pose coach you and help you get into the vibe of the shoot. You get retouched, and then you get the push, that little nudge you need. So that's it. It
is literally the full package. Literally. Good for you. You mean?
Literally. You better get into it now. Because it's about
You're like, your pinky is in the wrong place. Like it's literally down to the T, I can tell.
Literally. But it brings me so much joy to do it. Like, I would do it for free. I would literally.
No, I see your face is lighting up when you're talking about it. It's really great. No, good for you. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And we've known each other, like I said, for so long. I know your mom, I know your sister, and I've been around. We've been around each other for many, many years. Do you want to take some questions? If anybody has any questions?
Yeah, let's take some questions.
Does anybody have any questions? And while we're doing that, they'll come in. And then what, I'm going to ask you this. I ask everyone this question. Who are 4 people?
Your shades back on. I wanted to put mine back on too.
Who are 4 people you would like to go to dinner with, living or dead, in the meantime?
What? That's a question. Okay, so should I answer it first, or should I look? Let me hold on. Let me find a question that I'll answer next. Hey, social mediator, mindful meditation all the way. Any questions? Wow.
Anybody have any questions for
Damon,
Keenyah?
our conversation has been so engaging on my behalf anyway that I haven't even looked at the comments once.
Yeah, me either.
All right, so guys, ask questions while I answer Damon's question. If you're just joining, he said, who are the top 4 people
who would you go to dinner with?
Yep.
4 people, living or dead. You can choose 4 people of anything to go to dinner with.
Some dinner with some interesting folks. So, first of all, it wouldn't even have to be dinner, but I would have absolutely paid. I would have probably punched a baby in the face to have be in the same room as Michael Jackson.
Yeah, good one.
To just breathe that same air. And we're both Virgos. Is many Virgos in here? What's up? Second person, dinner for sure. Or don't let me catch you in an elevator. Jay-Z.
Who?
Jay-Z.
Oh yeah,
and I met and spoke with him, but it was always so brief. And I'm like, you Jay, I'm wasting your time. Let me move. So him. Thirdly would probably be, this is such a good question. Pharrell. But I feel like I understand him so much that I'm settling for just the music.
When you brought up Pharrell earlier, and I thought about, because I knew Pharrell when he was first, starting or whatever. But what I loved about Pharrell at that time, and you were around, you can contest to this, is Pharrell and then Kanye, they created a lane, because music was 50 Cent, all these people shooting and talking about, drug dealing, all this stuff. He created a lane for kind of the the cool or I call the nerdy black guy at the time that were a lot of my friends. So he created a lane that they could feel comfortable.
And
They weren't like gangbangers.
Cool.
And he created a lane for a lot of people that was missing, basically. So
he was the one that got away. This is not boasting. I want to tell you something. I've met Pharrell a couple times, but people who know me, like, they don't believe me when I tell this story. But so Pharrell, that's Forever Bay. Forever Bay. Met him, and last time I saw him was at the Vibe Awards. The last Vibe Awards. The last one.
When was that?
Oh, like, you know what's so funny? Zab Judah. Oh,
yes.
This is a good question too. I'll make it quick. Zab Judah, the boxer.
Yeah.
I met him at like some Soul Train something, because I used to be a Soul Train dancer for like before Top Model with Shamar. But Zab invited me to the Vibe Awards. I was like, okay. So I get there. He orders my car, everything. He leaves me at the Vibe Awards for Nia Long. He leaves me, but she's Nia Long, so I can't be mad. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here. I'm going to make it work. And so I went to the bathroom. I was sitting with Omarosa, who I know she gets a lot of flack, but she's one of my mentors.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing woman. She knows the game. She knows the game. So I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm going to be with Omarosa at her table. So I go to her table, get up and go to the bathroom before the awards start. On my way back to the bathroom, Pharrell's the last person with his skateboard crew. This is when he was Skateboard P. He's with his crew doing an interview for VH1. And I don't know, I bought my little dress at the Guest store in the Beverly Center, do my own makeup, feeling myself, wearing my little heels. 19 years old, don't know shit. And I literally stopped he was mid-conversation with VH1. And he dropped his jaw at me. I'm freaking out now. I am, you know how you throw your toes up in your sandals? That's what I did. I retracted my whole shit. And then he later came and spoke to me, but I respected him so much as an artist that I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to live with being some groupie or girl who, you know, so yeah. I turned him down, and I'm just happy with that. So yeah, good. Let's answer this question. How do you deal with not liking the final edit of a photographer? Since they have all the rights, they can do whatever they want. Amazing question. You must have experienced this on your own, Miss Black 19. So I used to handle it in a very different way. But now I know, firstly, before I do a photo shoot, especially if it's a test photo shoot or something where it's not paid, you create a law of a letter of agreement, an LOA, where you write it very simply. You say, all right, I'm a model, you're a photographer, we're going to do a photo shoot. You're going to give me at least 3 retouched photos by this date. And you just like leave it at that. And so for me, I now am part of the entire process. So you're sending me all the raw files via WeTransfer, Dropbox. You send it to me and we'll collectively decide which are the best ones. And then you retouch those and then we move forward from there. And then you do your part as the model. You make sure you tag them. And you keep up your end of the bargain and maybe work with them again. Yeah. Do you have any other, how did you do that, by the way? Oh, okay. How do you deal with insecurities in the industry? By tackling the why. Why do I have this insecurity? This insecurity was not a confident thing that I felt about myself, and then the industry taught me no. All of our insecurities are deeply embedded from our childhood traumas. So if you haven't asked yourself, why am I insecure about my whatever, if you haven't tackled that on your own, industry is just going to accentuate those. It's going to further exaggerate those insecurities. So you got to ask yourself what's going on. Have I talked with Mr. J. Manuel? Nope. He's fabulous. Run into him at Fashion Week or whatever, and he's amazing. But nope. Yeah. Next question. Oscar Fashion Guru, Legence. Do you know Legence, Damon?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's like the best, one of the best denim brands. Also knew him from the same time I knew you.
Oh, amazing.
Are there any other questions here? Because we probably have like 12 minutes. Doesn't it expire in like an hour or something?
Yes. Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap it up?
Well, I want to ask you, what's next for you? Because you're living in LA now.
Yes. I want to do a show. I want my own show. That's my goal, is to get a show this year.
A show.
Yes.
Reality.
I want to do where I interview people, and I want to do it. Everyone keeps saying do a podcast and that. I like doing it in person because, number one, I like. I mean, obviously we can't do it in person now, but I like vibing with the person, and I also like the visual aspect of it. So, I want it to be visual, basically. So, and
Okay.
cool and fun. And then.
Have you? Oh, is there an and then?
Oh no, keep going. Go, you go.
Have you watched Legendary?
Yeah, well, I talked to them for like about a full year about being involved in that show.
You should have been.
I don't think it was right for me personally, but it's an amazing show. I love it. Yeah, obviously.
Amazing. I watched it in like a day and a half.
Yes. Yeah, that show's amazing. It's on HBO Max, and it's got the second season already confirmed. So.
Okay, are you coming back to New York? Like, when am I seeing you again?
Well, first of all, I miss New York. It's really interesting. I miss New York hardcore right now of what's going on.
You should. So. It's a whole new bitch. Because
I know.
Summer, okay, let me tell you, quarantine has worked out beneficially in my life. I'm so sorry for anyone who has passed away or is having financial hardships. But for me, this is why I'm so grateful. It has given me so much time to sit my ass down.
Absolutely.
And like, if you really aren't, I know all these memes are like, no, it's a pandemic. If you're not creating your own business, like, you don't have to do it, whatever. But if you're not gaining something from this, even not monetarily, if you're not gaining something, it's just not in you, player. It's not in you.
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, I keep saying it many times, this has forced me to be creative in a different way, which I haven't had to be this kind of creative in many years, and I like that challenge a lot. So.
Right?
Yeah.
But now New York City, before I answer this next question, New York City had, amazing restaurants everywhere, but now everyone, by law, they have these social distance areas on every street, especially Williamsburg, which is where I live, but also anywhere in the city. They now have forced to have outdoor seating and set it up with all kind of lighting and exotic plants, and like, it's all outdoor and super social, and it's very Parisian now. Like in Paris, they set everything up for you about to people watch, you get some sun, and so that's what it's like now. Okay, let's.
No, I miss New York big time.
Oh, it misses you. As an entrepreneur, how far do you envision the expansion of Find Your Light services? Of course, Soul Mediator is asking this question. Great question. And I will share it because I'm not a big believer. I used to not be a big believer in sharing your deepest dreams with people, because people who don't believe that much in themselves will shit on your whole shit and maybe fuck up your vibe if you don't know your worth. But I see myself potentially having an actual location called Find Your Light, where I bring together photographers who need models who need photographers, stylists who need models and photographers, makeup artists who need models and photographers and stylists. Maybe even at this point, I don't even know where can we go past lace fronts. So whatever the next thing is with hair, you're gonna need new clients, and just connecting that all and helping people from the very, instead of having to struggle for like 5 or 10 years to find your zhuzh or your purpose, we're moving faster. That's how social media and technology is working. I want to expedite and speed up our growth and evolution as humans. Has there ever been something you didn't say at a point in your life that you got to say later on in life, and were you satisfied? I'm assuming. Looney, don't try to come in here so silly, but with a serious question.
Yeah. That's a good question, though. That's a good question.
What'd you say?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
It is a good question. I don't think there's anything specifically I've ever wanted to say. You know what? Yeah, I've been disrespected. There have been some times that I've been disrespected by other models, and you know them, but I don't like to speak negatively or gossip about people, so I won't mention them. But there have been plenty of times where my kindness was taken for weakness, or I was taken advantage of, and I was disrespected when I had the utmost positive intent, and I didn't speak on it, and I kind of shied away and let it eat at me. And, you know, now I have, because I didn't speak my piece and allow the person to defend themselves or check them, now those things, at that point, those things kind of stayed in my head, and that person probably didn't even live with it. So it stayed in my head, and now I'm getting to the point where I just don't fuck with you. When that could have been a relationship that would have been transmuted by transparency. So now I just speak it.
Listen to this mature woman. Listen, that's an amazing answer to that question.
No.
Like I said, I have seen you grow. Listen, that's an amazing answer to that question, I have to say.
Thank you.
I've seen you, like I've said it, you know, many times tonight, but I've seen you grow from this 18, 19-year-old girl to this like adult,
out of control,
you know, well evolved and, you know, just very
thank you. I can't even take the credit for that. It's really meditation and God showing me time after time, because like everybody has been introduced or told about meditation in some way, so everyone knows what it is. But I used to do sales for a really big meditation studio in Beverly Hills a few years ago, but it's life changing. And the biggest myth with, do you meditate?
It was interesting you say that, because I always have, but particularly with what's been going on, you know, since the pandemic, you know, it was very tense for the first month or so, and I started meditating for at least 1 hour every day, and I tell all my friends to do it, and no, most of them don't do it, you know what I mean?
You know that,
and we were so afraid
when you tell them they ain't gonna do it, you know.
But they say I can't. I'm like, yes, you can. It's so easy.
This is the biggest myth. This is actually to further answer the question about how far can Find Your Light go. Because there's a section at the end of my modeling workshops where it's my one-on-one course where I trickle in my meditative or spiritual beliefs, and I give them model mantras full of confidence boosters for them to know their self-worth. Doing positive affirmations, training your subconscious mind to like get with the shits and be self-loving. And so I eventually one day want to also have my own meditation studio.
That's amazing. That's great.
People.
That's amazing. First of all, we have like 2 minutes left, so let's answer that last question. Then we're gonna.
I never thought of doing a podcast for positive affirmations, especially 2020. You know what? You just gave it to me right there, player. I'm gonna have to do it for the end of the year. I'm gonna have a podcast, or at least regular lives or something on Instagram where I give out specific positive affirmations. Boom.
I love the idea of your meditation studio specifically for Black people. That's great.
Anybody who wants to know how to meditate, just DM me. I'll send you a couple YouTube links. Hook you up.
Good for you. Good for you.
Good for you.
All right, Keenyah. I want to thank you very much for doing this. Like I said, you know, we've always vibed. We've always kind of, you know, been connected, been around each other for many years. We've always really just liked each other a lot, you know. And wait, you just froze. What happened, girl? We lost you, boo. Is that it? What happened? Well, I know you can't hear me, but I love you, Keenyah. I'm very glad that you are the mature woman you are, and you're just so grounded. And love you, boo.